Fire Gaming Project. So in this video, I'll be talking about the Redhorn Stonethresher and comparing it to the other Claymore weapons that are currently available in the game as of 2.7. So yeah, I just recently posted one for the Memory of Dust Catalyst and compared that to the other catalysts in the game. So check that out if you're interested. Both of these weapons are on the current banner with Arataki Itto and Kuki Shinobu's debut on that weapon banner, so on the character banner. So these are in the current patch that we're talking about. So anyway, if you're interested for more, make sure that you guys are subscribed, hit the comments, leave me some comments and questions, and hit the notification bell. All right, so for the Redhorn Stonethresher, as you can see on the screen here, it is a crit damage substat weapon. It has a defense-focused passive, as you can see on the screen, that will increase the normal and charge attacks based off of the defense scaling. It's a lovely weapon. I wouldn't mind having this weapon because I do have Arataki Itto and I did build up my Noelle. I recently did an updated review for Noelle and I built her up. I gave her the white blind, which we will talk about in a moment. So in this video, I will be keeping it more evergreen and just comparing this weapon to the other Claymores and who it's best for. Obviously, it's best for Arataki Itto and Noelle, but who else could it be used for? Actually, nobody. That's actually the long and the short of it. No other character currently can utilize this as best as Arataki Itto can and Noelle. So for that reason, I can just make it very clear here. This weapon is a skip. Do not pull on this unless you want this weapon for your Arataki Itto or your Noelle, okay? Only they can use defense scaling anyway. The crit damage is nice, but then the passive is wasted if you can't use it properly, right? But let's now venture out a little bit. I have Arataki Itto on the screen here, but we're going to go into his weapons section, and let's just go in and see with what we can do here. So as you guys may know, if you guys have been following me for a while, you'll know that when Arataki Itto debuted, I already had the Unforged from losing a weapon banner from before or getting it from one of the previous weapon banners, and I decided that I was going to give him the Unforged, and I have given him the Unforged. He is fine with the Unforged. It is a very universal weapon. It's the same series as the Memory of Dust, the Li Yue Geo weapons, and they all have this similar, like, shield strength and, doubling it with a 100% extra attack if you're in a shield and all this attack bonus. So they're very universal and they're very nice, okay? So there's nothing special about them, but at least they're easy to use. They have an attack percentage, so you won't get the crit damage here, but they're not horrible to use, okay? So not horrible, at least. So I would say this is not like again, the Unforged is also not a must pull, but then at least if you got this already, then you definitely don't need the Redhorn for him, right? You could even give the Unforged to Noelle, but why? Noelle does really well with a free craftable 4-star white blind, and similarly, if you don't want to build your Noelle or use it on her, you can build this craftable white blind Claymore and give it to Itto as well. He'll do very good with it because it has a defense substat and the passive is also defense, so it's perfect. Okay, so moving along, how does the Redhorn compare to the other 5-star weapons in the game? The Redhorn is still a great weapon, but because it's so niche in nature, it is actually less comparable to any of these other 4 Claymores in the game currently. Because the Unforged is universal, the Song of Broken Pines is actually very niche too. It's a physical damage bonus. It's only for certain physical damage characters, such as Eula. You could probably turn your Razor into that. But there aren't that many. You can also turn your Xinyan if you use her into that as well, right? And also Diluc has been seen with that too. But not many characters currently in the game with Claymore, so that's why this is a very niche weapon too. So I wouldn't say Song of Broken Pines is a must-have either. Yeah. And then another universal weapon that actually is very much more focused on damage is the Wolf's Gravestone, which has been in the game since the very beginning. This one has like an attack focus, as you can see, and it also increases the attack if your HP is low, if the enemy's HP is low, so it's actually really focused on attack and killing them, right? So this is an awesome weapon to have, of course, especially if you have Diluc as well, because it's his signature weapon, but this could do well on a Eula, on Arataki Itto, on Beidou, even on Razor, Chongyun, Xinyan, any of the characters, Noelle, right? The only one it won't do specifically well with would be Sayu, because Sayu is not really for sub-DPS or DPS role. Most of the Claymore users are, so that's why most of these are very attack-focused. Lastly, for the 5-star section, the Skyward Pride. This is a very good weapon, especially if the character needs energy, such as my Beidou. I recently discussed that in another stream and or video, and I've given it to her. I've R2'd it so that there's a guaranteed 100% of the attack for the damage. Of course, I recently got an extra copy, and there's no other character that I would give it to, and I have all these extra Claymores already, so I didn't mind. The Skyward weapons are very universal, and I don't mind refining them. If I end up picking up extra refines, it's fine, because there are other weapons out there already, so it's not a bad thing. So this is not horrible, but at least my Beidou has something to use now, because previously I was giving her like various different things, like the Black Cliff and the prototype. I tried her out with the fish and the Katsura. All of them are good too, but obviously this being a 5-star, it has more energy and all that stuff too. So that's why it's just a good weapon for her, but also for any weapon, any other character, including Itto, because he also needs a lot of energy as well. But keeping in mind, by having that energy substat there, you are going to lose a little bit of damage in that sense. So as long as you can make sure that you have enough energy with in his artifact sets, then you may not need this. All right, moving along, the Akumaru is a limited series Inazuma weapon. It comes back and forth on certain banners. So obviously it's a very burst focused weapon, and I've done a few videos about this way back when it debuted. I compared it with other weapons, and then afterward, when I finally got my hands on it, because I never got it when it was debuted, I finally got it to R4, which I was kind of happy about, and I gave it to Chongyun, and I love it on Chongyun. But this weapon actually is really good for Arataki Itto as well, because he is ideally a burst focused character, because his burst has a lot of damage. Actually, even Noelle can do a lot of damage with this. Now, this one will hurt the normal attack and charge attack, because the focus is not there for the passive, so they won't gain any bonuses really. But this will do really well for boosting their burst damage. So this is a really good weapon, but unfortunately it is a limited series and there's no guarantee that you'll get it. Again, I didn't get it during this debut run, and I got it during its rerun a few patches ago, and I got it to R4, but that's because I also pulled on that weapon banner for other things that I was able to benefit from, so that's why. So I wouldn't say that these are must-have items either, but they're good if you have them. Now, the Katsura Kikiri Nagamasa, this one is really good looking and actually matches his look, actually, because I think they designed it for him for Inazuma as well. This one does well, especially because his elemental skill, the Ushi, is actually really good too. It has pretty decent damage, right? However, yeah, it has basically an energy recharge substat and a passive that's related to that, so it's not horrible. I wouldn't say this is his best for Arataki Itto, but if you don't have any other, like if you don't have the Skyward Pride, then this could be an okay option, especially because it's craftable and it's free to play friendly, so it's not bad because he does need energy. Okay, moving along, the Luxurious Sealord. This was from many patches ago already. This is an events-exclusive limited weapon. So this one has burst damage, so this is actually really amazing for many burst-oriented characters, such as Chongyun, you know, and Itto included, of course, and Beidou, right, you know, and Noelle. So this is a really good weapon, and I did use it on Chongyun for the longest time until I got Akumaru, and I switched it to Xinyan. Xinyan has a lot of damage from her burst as well. So that's why this is not a bad weapon as well. Just keep that in mind, but I know that because some of these event weapons are from many patches ago, and newer players will not have access to them, unfortunately, so that's why I want to make that very clear here too. Blacklist Weapon is a very good placeholder series that's always available in every other month on the Paimon shop, so I recommend getting these, but they are placeholders, meaning that eventually you'll replace them with other better weapons for your characters. Again, I said I had this on Beidou at one point, and then obviously she's not using it anymore, no one's using it right now, but I don't mind and don't regret building these back then, because that's before I got more weapons too, keep that in mind. So they're good placeholders. The substat passive, the substat is a good stat stick, the crit damage, but the passive is not sustainable because you have to basically kill enemies in order to maintain the stacks, and if you're fighting a solo enemy, you're not going to get it. White Blind, again, we said it already early on, it's a really good weapon, it's craftable, it's free. The only problem is you may not get enough billets to get this up to high refines, but it's still a good weapon nonetheless. And during certain events in every region, you can get those billet boxes, so you can select this if you select the Claymore billet if you want that as well. Prototype Archaic is another craftable weapon. Also, this is not a horrible weapon. It actually is pretty decent, actually. Again, when you're first starting out, these are really good, decent weapons for starters. Again, you'll eventually get better weapons and replace these. This is very similar to the Blackcliff situation here, but it's not bad nonetheless. But as you can see, it is normal and charge attack focused, so it may not be Itto's best, but it could do well for unless you use Itto that way. This could do well, again, on Noelle. It could do well on Chongyun, because Chongyun has that extra like attack combo thing at the end where he slashes and throws some ice forward, I think, right? And like there is also Beidou, right? You know, so this is not bad. And Eula is very good at doing her combo with normal and charge attacks, so it's not bad. Sacrificial Greatsword. I also previously had this temporarily on Beidou, similar with Favonius, and both of them are energy recharge because she needs it, and at least my build of her needs it, that's why. So I will just say that these are both good weapons. I also had the Sacrificial on Chongyun, which I love, but as you know, I already replaced it. So these are good placeholders. If you want to increase their damage output though, you're going to have to rebuild them a little bit so that their artifact set has more energy so that they can benefit from more attack in the weapon side. So there's that too. Sayu, we mentioned earlier, she is a support character basically. We're not using her for DPS or sub DPS roles. She's meant to be healing and maybe some swirling here and there, right? And most people don't even use her. But yeah, she would do fine with the Favonius because she needs energy actually. And you know, this is a nice placeholder weapon for her. It's universal and she'll do well with this because if you can get the crit hits in, she can generate extra energy for the whole team. So make sure that you are building her with crit. Now, unfortunately though, not everyone's going to do that obviously, but if you have the extra artifacts that you're not using, that you can build her up with crits and do that. Yeah. Okay, the Snow Tombed. This is a Dragon Spine region weapon that you have to craft. Not many people love this weapon, but I know that this weapon may have its certain uses. Some people do use this in lieu of the Song of Broken Pines for Eula, and this is great for her. This is a physical damage substat, and also it increases her normal and charge attacks as well. So this is not bad, and obviously she's cryo, so it has a little cryo passive there too. Not bad. This one also have seen it been used on Chongyun and also on Razor, because Razor can do electro plus the cryo, and Razor is also a very good physical damage character, so that's why it can work that way, but not many people use Razor. Speaking of Razor, I did do a review of him a while recently, I think a few weeks ago, so check that out if you're interested. Okay, we're moving along here. So there's only a few left. So the bell. This is not a good weapon for any character in the game currently. I do have it, and I temporarily did build it way back when, way back, and I left it after everyone realized that this weapon is not useful even on Noelle. So we'll wait and see until they release a character that can scale off of HP. So we're skipping this. Similarly, the Rain Slasher, originally people thought that this would do well on Diluc or Beidou, but obviously there's better options for them. The Elemental Mastery is for reactions, of course, and it's specific for Hydro and Electro. So for Diluc, some people use it with a vaporized composition, but this is very niche. So we're waiting for more elemental mastery related characters. Some people thought that this could work on Sayu as well, and that's fine. However, Sayu is not Hydro or Electro, so there's that. So we have to wait and see. And then lastly, the Lithic Blade. This is a Liyue limited edition series weapon. It is on the current weapon banner as a limited. I got these way back already. I think it's rerun like 3 or 4 times by now. It's nothing special, but you do need to make sure that you have more than 3 characters in your character team roster, your team composition. That's from Liyue in order to maximize the bonus here. So 3 out of 4 maximum, or 4 if preferably. But not everyone uses only Liyue characters, right? Also, you need refines of 3 and up in order to benefit with higher passive damage here. So I would just say this is like not a must pull or must have. Similar to its spear counterpart, the Lithic spear. I wouldn't build them. I haven't built them. So. All right, so let's just bring it back full circle. So back to the Redhorn Stonethresher. The Redhorn Stonethresher obviously is Itto's best, but it's not required for him. He will do fine with the Unforged and the White Blind. It is also going to be good for Noelle, but that's it. It's only good for them two currently. So it is a definite skip. So anyway, I hope that you guys found this useful, hopefully, and feel free to leave me comments and questions and let me know how you guys are doing. So I will see you guys in the next video, and we'll go from there. Thanks, and see you there. Bye.